Welcome back to the Not Carrie Bradshaw YouTube channel. In this video, I'm recapping episode 2 of the final season of Insecure. It's happening, guys. We are in it. We are in the final season. So let's go ahead and jump right in, and also go ahead and hit subscribe while I have your attention right here. Hit subscribe. Thank you. Okay, let's chat. So we have jumped ahead 1 year in the lives of our heroes, and Issa and Molly are in a whole new groove with their friendship. And I have to say, at first I was like, damn, they skipped a whole year. But I'm actually really kind of happy that we didn't have to watch them be awkward and go through the growing pains of getting to a new and better place in their friendship. I don't want to say go back, because I don't think that in life we get to go back. I think that we can always only move forward in a direction. So I'm happy we didn't have to watch them be awkward for a whole season. What I also realized is that my anger and frustration towards Molly from last season has completely dissipated. I don't even remember the specificity of why I was so angry with her last season, and I'm happy about that. I guess all we really needed was time. You know, time away, time to do some growth. I'm happy about it. So at first I was like, a whole year later, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with the fact that we're progressing. So the block is growing. Issa did not improve that logo. The Blow CC is growing. She's hit 10,000 followers on Insta. She's still producing events where there was a very overzealous fan. And at the book signing, and it was just like, I don't think sometimes people understand how intense they can be when they meet people who they admire. And like, it's just sometimes like, happy to help. Thank you. That was so funny. I love that little scene. Molly is thriving in her career. You know, she's volunteering for things. Molly got a new do. Molly got a new suit. Molly is doing affirmations with Kelly Rowland and her dog. I continue to love Molly's wardrobe. That silk satin number. Ooh, put it in my veins. I'm here for luxury loungewear. We finally see Nansford, aka Nathan, for the, he makes his first appearance for the season. So he wants to celebrate the 1 year anniversary of his barbershop with his partner, who had the idea to do it at a car wash, and they just have to work one shift. And I was like, that is some real janky shit right there. But Issa, wants to help them out. So there's a little bit of a vibe there, a little bit of tension there. I was like, do I want something to happen between these two, or do I want them to just be friends? How do I feel? And then they let me know how I felt at the end of the episode, but we'll get there. We will get there. So Molly is with her parents, and she's talking to her older Black parents about estate planning. Not an easy thing to do. You don't really want to have a conversation with your parents about, okay, so when y'all die, what's gonna happen? It's very awkward, but it's also very necessary. I am super thankful. Molly's parents made me super thankful for a couple of things in my life. Number one, I'm happy that my parents and I have already had a conversation about their estate planning and what they would like, for their homegoing service, for their funeral or whatever. So I'm really happy that I had those conversations with my parents, and that they did not try to write down the stuff that they value and the stuff that they want to pass along in pencil on a piece of paper. Like, this is not a legally binding document. I also really appreciated that we got to see the growth in Molly when she went back later in the episode and apologized to her mom for being, if she was overzealous or if she was pushing them into something that's new and uncomfortable for them. And I was like, yes, Molly, awareness. This episode was so perfectly named, because we really have gotten to see Molly's actual growth in real time, her actual awareness of, oh, maybe I wasn't great in that moment. Let me go back and address it. And even just doing that, it didn't lead to a big blow up. Her mom was like, you don't even owe me an apology. I'll call the estate planner tomorrow. The other thing that her parents made me grateful for is that I don't have parents who are pressuring me about getting married. They don't try to hook up with Herbert from the church, child. Herbal, who became a deacon at 10 or however young. And the fact that her mom said, um, you know, he does music at the church. You listen to the church. You listen to music. Like, that's enough. Just that he plays the organ in the church and you listen to music. That's enough of a connection? No. And her mom goes down this whole list of, you know, just planning out Motley's whole life. You got to date for this many years, and then we got to have time to save up for a wedding. And then, you know, by the time your daddy gonna be too old. I'm so happy I don't have people putting that kind of pressure on me in my life. Especially because Molly is really trying to focus on her growth. And that's a hard boundary to establish, where it's like, I'm actively working on myself. That's not my focus right now. Please don't put that kind of pressure on me. It's a really hard boundary to have, especially with parents who you love and who are, you know, trying to care for you. So Molly later in the episode starts to look at dating apps, and she has these flashbacks, which again, I completely forgot about. Like, I would probably actually go back and start this whole season over. This whole series over, because I completely forgot that Molly had so many bad experiences in dating, and dating PTSD is so real. It's something that I'm actively dealing with in therapy right now, and where she's, you know, being confronted with questions on this dating app profile of what she's looking for and what it's like to date her. And I wanted to just like scream through the TV, you don't have to base this on your past experiences. You get to decide now who you are and what you want and how you want to move forward. But those past experiences can really haunt you and hinder you from moving forward. So I was really happy to see that, much like she encouraged her mom to push through the discomfort to do something that's actually going to be really beneficial for all of them as far as estate planning, she also has to push through the discomfort of her past to embrace something new if she wants to re-enter the world of dating, which we see her do, and she pushes through that fear. And I was really proud of her for that. I'm looking for that courage myself. So Issa is currently working to produce a fashion show. She's partnering with a larger brand to sponsor the event. It's going to be a fashion show for an inmate turned fashion designer named Crenshawn, who is played by fine ass Kofi. I remember when I caught a glimpse of his face in the previews for this season, and I was like, any excuse to look at him. I would watch him on mute. It's just a good face. It's just a good face. The brand is concerned that he doesn't have enough experience as a creator, as a fashion designer, to justify the budget that they're asking for. And they feel like his presentation is going a bit big with like these different like high concept things and low riders and things like that. So they want him to scale his fashion presentation back a bit. And Issa is actively like pushing like, no, this is, you know, we should go through with his vision. And there's pushback. So she has to actually go to Crenshawn and, you know, give him their notes that, you know, the brand really wants to work with you. This is a huge step for us, but they have notes. And this is a part of what it means to be a creative, but where the capitalism gets involved. It takes money to execute a vision, and the reality is whomever is giving you the capital, you do have to answer to them. And I absolutely loved that. Not loved, it was funny, but it's true. Like, people who were formerly incarcerated, it does take them time to like lose the mindset of being an imprisoned person. So when the dude was like, I ain't gonna snitch or nothing, but you know, such and such over here eating on the job, and it's like, bro, you free now. I'm always thankful for comic relief when it's well done, but he wants to just execute his vision the way he sees it for his fashion show. Issa is trying to act as an intermediary to make sure that both parties are happy, you know, the fashion designer and the brand who's ultimately paying for all of this, which is a challenging space to be in because, you know, as the fashion designer, he's like, I don't really give what they say. I want to do what I want to do. He gives her the impression that everything is going to, you know, that he's going to take their notes into consideration. But come the day of the show, he goes rogue. And there's this whole conversation about, you know, Issa selling out. That's a really that's some tricky territory, because there's a difference between selling out and compromising so that we can get to a bigger goal. And he's not really seeing that. And at a certain point, once they see the show going the way that he wants it to go, they realize that he has like fully gone rogue. Of course there's the anxiety, and of course there's the fear, but it actually goes really well. And she's watching, you know, the head of this brand or whatever, who didn't want all this big stuff and these like high concept things. He looks super uncomfortable. He's rubbing the back of his neck, whatever. By the end of the show, he comes and, you know, thanks her for going through with her vision anyway, when we as an audience know that it was really Crenshaw who was like, I'm gonna do what I want to do. And kudos to him for having that kind of faith and that kind of confidence in his vision. That's a really hard thing to do. That's a hard thing for me to do as a content creator. I am always nervous about learning to trust yourself as a content creator is really, really a struggle. And I talked about this in a previous video. I was really happy to actually see that he trusted his vision the way that he did, and it went so well. But I also really liked how Issa perceived, you know, the head of the brand, him rubbing the back of his neck and his discomfort. She perceived that to be such negative feedback because she was insecure about what was going to happen afterwards. And it's interesting the way that we can read and perceive other people's behavior based on our insecurity, our fear, our anxiety. So I thought that it was really cool that, you know, he explained like, yeah, I'm having these neck problems, whatever, but this was so great. I'm glad you trusted your gut. And maybe this will give Issa more license, more permission to give herself, to trust herself more moving forward, and to push for more. I hope that this really does spark in her the desire and the ability and the confidence to just back the artist more sometimes when it's called for. But it's also a balancing act, because you don't know, as Black people, we never know once we get these opportunities, is this going to be our last opportunity? It's really easy for people to say, you know, fail all the time, fail as often as you can. That's easy to say when you aren't confronted with the possibility that your one shot might be your one shot for real. And that's true for Black people, people of color who are in spaces where there aren't a lot of us. We don't know if our risk is going to pay off, and that's true for everyone, but I think that for us, it's a little bit more dire, you know, for us to make our one shot really count. So again, kudos to Crenshaw for committing to his vision, and this should be a really good learning lesson for Issa that, like, yeah, you have to answer to this brand. And I don't think that Issa did anything wrong, by the way. I think that she was trying to play it safe. She was trying to make all parties happy. But I think the hero here was Crenshaw. I also really like the name Crenshaw. Me and my friend were laughing about that. And I was like, are we maybe like birds for this? I was also so happy to see Kirby from Pure Moss. He is one of my favorite Black designers. He actually helped Shiona Turini, who is the wardrobe designer for the show, to come up with this whole fashion show. And I was just so happy to see his face. I was like, oh my God, there's my fave. So shouts out to him for, you know, for this cameo and for also actually helping to produce this faux fashion show. So afterwards, Issa goes home to decompress. Nansford comes over and Issa invites him to stay over, and shit gets weird. Y'all, was Issa supposed, okay, when she cried in his mouth when they were about to get physical, was that supposed to be funny or was that supposed to be emotional? Because I was like, oh my God, what is she doing? And it was also just like Nathan's reaction to, like, she basically cried in his mouth. And he was just like, what you got going on? Cringe. My secondhand embarrassment triggered. It was so cringe. She's clearly in this moment realizing she is not over Lawrence. She is not ready to move on. She's not ready to be physical, even with someone who she knows and who is a safe space. And I was just like, oh my, God. And then the fact that Nathan once again ghosted. He just got up in the middle of the night and left. Do you know how devastated I would be if someone did that to me? If somebody just got up and left in the middle of the night, like, she's still ultimately your friend. You can't just leave her like this. Like, damn, you don't want to, like, leave a note, shoot a text, do something to let her know, like, do you need to talk, like, whatever. I feel like he just completely abandoned her. I am not happy with Nathan. One thing about Nathan, he gonna ghost your ass. He gonna ghost your ass. Like, that's just what, I guess that's just his MO. And like, now how is this gonna affect their friendship? Is their friendship now just like over? Anyway, so that's it for this episode. I'm really excited for next episode. Next episode is going to be a Lawrence episode. We get to see what he been up to this whole time. And the story is really, I feel like, going to start to unfold even more next episode. So I'm excited. Slide in the comments. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode. What did you guys think about Nathan leaving? Do you consider that ghosting? Would you do that to someone? Has someone ever done that to you? Let's get personal. Let's make the comments a safe space. I want to know. Tell me the things. So thank you guys for tuning in again. I will be back next week to recap next week's episode. Be sure to like and comment and share and subscribe. And if you want to shoot your girl some coins, become a patron on my Patreon. The link is in the episode description below. See you guys soon. Bye.